Okay, hello YouTube. It's Matthew Baird. I'm looking at Senator Ron Johnson's webpage here in regards to the accusation by the Washington Post and others that he was misrepresenting numbers regarding, regarding the numbers of deaths rising in comparison from 2020 to 2021. The difference being that when the vaccine was being administered and when it wasn't. In 2020, there was no vaccine. 119 deaths, according to the World Health Organization's reports. This year, just within this study, here on his page, Senator Ron Johnson answered questions from Washington Post fact checker on Tuesday at length and in detail. His answers were largely disregarded as the newspaper appears to have been interested only in checking the box before publishing a smear. I would have to agree with that. I read it. It was, in my opinion, poorly written and obviously charged in the direction of against Senator Johnson. The senator's interest is in transparency. He has released the entirety of the newspaper's questions and his answers. Okay. Washington Post question is why is Senator Johnson using the VAERS data to suggest the co-idiot vaccine is causing thousands of deaths when there is not proof of a single death occurring as a cause of the vaccine, which could be, Senator Johnson said in the interview, I'm talking to doctors who have since day one been concerned about vaccines for people who have already had the co-idiot, because you die not of co-idiot, you die of immune system overreaction to co-idiot. Alright, and then we scroll down a little bit more. And Senator Johnson, the senator did not imply causality, as they already told CNN last week. The senator is not suggesting the deaths were directly caused by the co-idiot 19 vaccine. Not supposed to say that one either. We'll call it a vac. He is simply saying we need to take the VAERS findings seriously and research what is going on. When you write that the senator implies causality, what is the basis for your claim? Provide evidence that the senator is implied causality. Yeah, they start arguing back and forth there. Here is the chart that they are providing for seasonal flu vaccines. Seasonal flu looks like probably age category. Number of deaths reported to VAERS. Okay, so from 20 to 21, we're having 25 for a total of 119 for these age groups from 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18 to 19, 19, 20, 20, 21 to 21. Those are the years of the flu. Number of deaths reported to VAERS in those years. I believe 5-year total. Yeah. Okay, so for 5 years, the total from 20 as 16 to 17 through 20 to 21 is 119. So the 5-year total of deaths for seasonal flu vaccines is 119. Okay? And then this much more difficult to read chart is the VIRS death report COVID vaccine. They managed to make this one small, didn't they? All right. Number of days. Day 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, as the study progressed, this column is the number of days. These are the age categories, obviously. 65 years and under, 64 to 44. It looks like. And then the number of participants, total deaths, percentage total. Okay, in this group, 12% died, 34. In this group, looks like 14% died. It was like 425. In this group, 7% died, around 292. And this is by day 2. This age group with this number of participants, this age group with this number of participants, we're experiencing these deaths as the days progressed. We come to the bottom for our totals. See, percentage total and raw data total here. For that column and age group, percentage. And we come to the death column here. There we go. Total deaths. Come down to the total column. Okay, that can't be. Total. Like a 3% death mortality. I think. Percentage total. Day 5. 96. Yeah. So it looks like we're looking at 3% total. Okay. All right. Anyway, and it was all based on a report. They have the totals of deaths and all that, right? But they're not giving you the numbers. I looked while I was reading it. Tempting to watch that. The co-idiot disease is in fact an inflammatory disease, which is about 5 to 10%. Okay, these are his responses. Unjustifiable harm could happen because one-size-fits-all thinking. Secondly, no response. A responsible physician would administer a vaccine to an infected person because the vaccine could actually make things worse. To a fact that at the moment, millions of Americans are infected either asymptomatically or have very mild symptoms. indiscriminately vaccinating these folks is a big mistake. I agree. And I saw in here where he was basing his divine. Okay. No, that is not at all what I am trying to do. I have here somewhere the paper. As we scroll down, I will cover the Israeli paper, but I'm looking at Senators Johnson's response, and the problem is, could you simply reference your own newspaper coverage of the instance this from last, or could you simply reference? But many scientists have come to believe that much of the diseases the station comes from two intertwined causes. The first is harm the virus wreaks on blood vessels, leading to clots they can manage. From microscopic to sizable, patients have different strokes, suffered strokes, and pulmonary embolism as clots break loose and travel to the brain, lungs. A study in the Lancet, a British medical journal, has showed this may be because the virus directly targets the endothelial cells that line blood vessels. I probably slaughtered that word right there. The second is the exaggerated response from the body's own immune system. A storm of killer cytokines that attack the body's own cells along with the virus as it seeks to defend the body from an invader. Okay, so that's basically the main two problems people are having with it. Here's a chart that they have showing the antivirus, corticosteroids, immunodilators, antiplatelet, antithrombotic drugs. Okay. I interpreted my interpretation. Okay. This table presents the one presented by one of the physician witnesses at one of the senator's hearings on COVID response, illustrates the role of immune response. I went way too far with that one there. Messed that world up. Washington Post. Who are these doctors? Does the medical research available to the public support the extraordinary claims from Senator? How's it extraordinary, Jonathan? Senator Johnson, how's that extraordinary that the vaccines just okay? For which no evidence is available. Senator Johnson previously issued a statement saying it is a legitimate question as to whether people at the very low risk of suffering serious illness from COVID, particularly the young and healthy, should be encouraged to take a vaccine that is being administered under an emergency use authorization. In other words, before it has been fully tested and fully approved. Exactly. Now his response should be good. Senator Johnson, Dr. Hanan, that were their statement in response one above. The senator has spoken with doctors all over the world, and he will not name names because they hear they fear reprisal from the media, from their own institutions, and from the government. Reasonably so at this time. In addition, Dr. Hannah Norjason, these doctors have testified in front of Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Okay, and then they list the ones that have testified. Dr. Peter McCullen, Dr. Pierce Corey. An Israel study is showing that the natural immunity from having the co-idiot 19 is at least as effective as vaccine immunity. So we roll over here, and as soon as I hit the tag, it will take you to the actual study from Senator Johnson's page. Now, if you're unfamiliar with research reports like most people are, these can be difficult to read, as they have a very specific structure that's meant to be peer-reviewed. The order is for the understanding of people who have the education to specifically read these and to write them. So don't feel bad if it's difficult to understand, because I'm going to explain what I can. First, when they write these, they're writing out protection and previews of SARS-CoV-2 infection, call it V2. Infection is similar to that of the BNT162b2 vaccine, which is the co-idiot 19 vac. Protection. A 3-month nationwide experience from Israel. Okay. Just an introduction. Rough and concise. Well, not rough, concise. And that's what it's for. That's why they write it this way, is to be concise. Even though it can make it more difficult for the unfamiliar with it to understand it. Because again, it's pretty much going to go right from that to who's involved. This is great. I love the way this is not grabbing the side here. There we go. Now I got it. This is Yuri Goldberg. These are the guys who wrote this paper right here. These researchers were involved. It was from the Technical Institute of Technology in Israel, Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Israel, and the Getter Institute for Epidemiology and Health Policy Research. Shelburne Medical Center, Israel. Okay? That's who did it. That's who wrote the report. They didn't do it. I mean, they did the research. And then they give an introduction, which it's hard to look at it through the phone, so I'm back the phone up a little bit. Israel's is currently in the latest stages of the vaccination campaign to reduce both SARS-CoV-2 infection and the V12 infection. Israel is administering the vacuum developed by biotech in cooperation with Pfizer, for which the emergency use authorization was issued by the Food and Drug Administration the V19 vacuum program initiated on December 20th, 2020, and became available. And nursing home residents, healthcare workers, etc., patients with severe issues as of February 6, 2021, etc. February 26, 2021. The vacuum made March 2020, 70% of the eligible population is vacuumed. Okay, well now that happened, the introduction goes on to outline how they perform the research that produced the numbers and the information we're going to scroll down to the table here and look at, because honestly the rest is very technical. Every detail, as many as possible, is accounted for. They outline their methods of how they did the research here. Feel free to look on the Senator's page and find that information. And they give their references. Now we're going to come down here to figures and tables, because that's where we're going to find the meat of what we're looking for. Okay, now we're getting into references. See how long this is. Alright, figure 1. Population level data. Columns, male, female. Total, yes. Columns, yes, positive test. Yes, positive test, severe death. Counts during the period December 20th to March 20th, 2020 to March 2021. 2021. Thank you. Okay, for age groups 16 to 19, or 16 to 29, it looks like. 39. 60 age groups. They're going down age groups, male, female, and then total of the two of the different age groups. And then they go to, that means vaccinated. PCR is the number of people vaccinated. Positive results in the various age groupings here, 16 to 39, 183,617 positives. Of those, 2,722 were hospitalized. Of those hospitalized, 684 had severe problems, and of those, 44 died in the time of the paper's research being done. As they were gathering the data for these age groups, for the male, female categories totaled together, comparing the numbers vaccinated of these groups, here are the numbers. Okay, and then the numbers that were positive, numbers hospitalized for each category, lowest being 80 plus, big numbers hospitalized here. 3,000, you see, they get bigger as the age group goes up naturally. And then those who had severe problems while hospitalized, naturally going up. And then deaths resulting in these categories, like 16 to 39, 44 deaths. So that's like age 40 to 49, looking at 64 deaths. And then 50 to 59, looking at 153 deaths. 60 to 69, was that 406? Yeah, awesome. 7 to 79, 674 deaths. Now, bear in mind, I just looked at a chart that showed that over the last 5 years, there has been a total of 119 deaths due to vaccine-related issues. 79 is 1,385. The total deaths, 2,727. So I honestly do not feel that Senator Ron Johnson overstated the issue in comparison to the last 5 years total of influenza related vacuum stuff. Thank you, and you too. Love and peace.